So what I'm doing now is boiling this, and actually it's not just a case of stirring it, it's boiling it, and that's causing it to froth up, and I suppose it's getting air mixed in it. I mean, for me the interesting thing is working out what's the chemistry of this, you know, and this is bubbling away and sort of being a little bit syrupy, but it's still only 101 degrees. So it's going to need more to get it up to that 115. So I think it's going to have to be boiled more vigorously. Now the problem is what quantity of sweetener to put in order to match the sugar. I've put in 50% extra at the moment. It's still only, whereas the sugar would be 100 grams, I've put in about 45 of sweetener, but 30 grams seem to be about the right amount by volume. But it just dissolved so easily that it seemed to me maybe it wasn't enough. That's interesting texture that's appearing on the spoon there. So I'm trying to gauge this. I might put in a bit more. Just turn the heat up slightly as well. Another 10 grams of sweetener, so I'm up to about 55 grams of sweetener here, and I'll have to work out what the carb content is there. Obviously, fundamentally, it's going to be, you know, low carb fudge is still going to have quite a few carbs in. You're going to only be able to eat small amounts of it. And the mixture here is bubbling away nicely. It's sort of a bit syrupy, but it's still at 101 degrees. It's not getting up to the 115, which I expected, but it could well be, it's not obvious from the instructions, but it could well be that it doesn't get up to that temperature until you know, it's cooked in the right way, and it's getting to this soft ball stage that's described. So I'll just have to keep an eye on that and see. Last time I did this, it was probably about this point that the mixture that I was making completely split, in the sense that the oils, I think, in the spread that was being used just came out as a separate layer, and I ended up actually trying to pour them away to rescue the fudge, although I couldn't get rid of all of it, and some of it solidified back as a sort of thin layer on top of the fudge, which, you know, made you wonder really how good it was. And it sort of looks like it's doing that this time, but the difference is this time is that I've used butter instead of a spread. So you know, the only compromised ingredient here is the sweetener. This is going to an interesting texture. Maybe this is how it's meant to be. Actually, it's caramelly in a way, you know, sort of gloopy. It's a bit lumpy in the sense, but then of course I did put coconut in there. Actually, that's the other compromise I've made, I should have said. But just also I noticed the temperature's gone up to 103 there, so that's something. So maybe it's able to go up from here. I don't know if you can really get a sense of the texture there, but it's you know, it's sort of sticking together, binding together. We've got up to 104 now. 104. That's good. So maybe this is the secret to getting up to that temperature of 105. The problem is my thermometer's in the way. I'm stirring it. I'm going to get a burn spot on the pan. Yeah, we're up to 105 now. So, of course, normally you'd be scared of burning it. I mean, we're now above boiling point of water, so it's pretty hot. Try and get some of this stirred in. Softball, the alarm's just gone off, and maybe softball's the right description, because if you can see that, it's sort of broken down into lumps. Now the oil has come out of here like it did before. I don't know if that's some oils in the butter, is that impurities in the butter? I don't know, has it come out of the coconut? But yeah, this is sort of lumpy, and I can imagine how there's my 15 minutes. So actually that's perfect timing. Perfect timing. It's worked really well. So I'm stirring in the vanilla, and I'm actually putting some orange in here as well. Stirring all that in. Yeah, this isn't a liquid anymore. This is something that's really, you know, kind of partly solid. So I've got to look at my instructions next. So apparently what sets fudge apart from toffee, because essentially it's heated, superheated sugar in a way, is the temperature. And this 113 to 115 degree point is supposedly quite important. Now, I've just tasted this as it's going so far, and it's like toffee. It tastes like toffee. It's got a texture. I mean, crikey, it's like welding a jaw together. So what I don't know is whether maybe I overcooked it quite literally. The temperature got up to 116. But the next stage is to leave it for 5 minutes just to cool, which I'm doing. There's a few minutes gone. And then the instructions are to kind of beat it, whip it up until it loses the gloss. Now I suspect the gloss is the oil that's come out and lying on the top and that's sort of separated out. That's what's giving it that shiny look. So perhaps you let it cool and somehow you can beat that back into the mixture. I'm not sure, but that's what I'm going to try, and we'll see how it does. Certainly the taste is good. The taste is addictive. You've got to remember though, there's now 60 grams of sweetener in this, so that's going to be quite a large proportion of the mixture, given that there's 100 grams of butter and there is 300 mils of milk, which are with some milk, some cream, so 350 mils. Of course, the water content of that's basically boiled off. So what I need to do is, in fact, I've just remembered, before I pour it into the tin, I need to measure the final weight of the mixture, so that I know that 60 grams of that is carbs, and I can work out the mixture before I start whipping it up. You can see that there is a big layer of oil in there. I had that last time in panic, but this is essentially the right ingredient. And this is a very sticky, kind of solidifying mixture. So I'm going to beat that up as it says, try and mix that oil into it, see what happens. It's actually, it's crystallizing on the side of the pan. The feel of that feels good. It feels like crumbs of fudge, and I'm hopeful for this. So it's up. What I've been left with is this sort of doughy kind of thing, and there's loads of oil. And to be honest, whilst I was trying to beat it up, the oil was going everywhere. So I don't know if you can see that in the bottom. So I've tipped that out. It doesn't seem to mix back into the mixture. It doesn't seem to be helpful. So tipping that out, and then I'm just going to put this lump into my tray. What I'm left with in the bottom of the tray. This lump of it probably doesn't look as good on the video as it does for real. It does actually look semi-appetizing, and it's got that sort of slightly non-smooth structure that you'd expect for a fudge, because that was definitely one of the problems with the last one, was it was just kind of a completely smooth blend of stuff. Probably should have melted it down and added it back in. But this sort of shows promise. So what I'm going to do is cover this now and leave this to cool, and see how we go.